Now then, Ross, this is. I think this is going to be good. Maybe. This is kind of. This is kind of a different for us. This is a tasting of Bivrost.
Yes.
Whiskey. This is the Jotunheim, which means precisely 0 to me. Bivrost. Tell me what is Bivrost?
So it's an Arctic distillery. So it's really interesting. It's the most northern distillery in the world. So we've done a couple of expressions, and they really play around with our casks. This is a limited series they've done around Nordic mythical stories and mythical beasts kind of idea. This one here is a limited edition in bourbon and ex-stout casks.
Okay.
So should be a little bit interesting. They've really played around and experimented in their first few years of production to see what they could do, including growing barley, you know, in the Arctic where they get so much more sunlight, for example.
It's a challenge, isn't it?
It turns out it's more expensive, they get less yield, and it's less productive. So I mean, it really is a nightmare for them. They've kind of completed the range of 9 releases, I believe, around these kind of Nordic stories, and then they're going to kind of rebrand and do their next development of the whiskey.
Right.
Interestingly, it's a kind of old German war camp that the distillery's on.
Okay.
So the casks are kind of stored in old bunkers, which is quite interesting. So we love a story in Scotch whiskey.
Absolutely. And this one is in ex-bourbon, which is fairly standard.
Yeah.
An ex-stout.
Yeah, interesting.
I know you're not a massive beer drinker.
I don't drink beer.
Stout, I imagine, is your idea of a nightmare.
Yeah, it's certainly not something I've come across that often in whiskey. Really, beer casks still haven't really caught on. Glenfiddich IPA was probably the first kind of, this is a core product, we're using beer.
Yeah, Glasgow Distillery have done a few sort of beer casks as well.
And have you tried them? What did you think? You are a beer drinker.
Yeah, I like beer. The Glasgow ones are very, very good. I think they add, they add something. The whiskies I've had that have been in beer casks have been good.
Okay.
They may have been good before they went to beer casks.
But maybe not that, it's not been that influential.
Yeah.
It's certainly, I mean, the colour's kind of quite consistent with what we've seen from Bivrost so far. Let's have a little nose and taste and see what we think.
Yeah. Our experience of Bivrost is that it's quite kind of farmyardy.
Yeah, certainly the nose has been quite consistently herbal and grassy and green. Lots of kind of hay. And farmyardy notes.
Peated has been an element.
There has been a kind of lightly peated element. My understanding is we've had one with ex-peated casks previously as well. So I think they really are experimental still. This will be interesting to see what we think. Something a bit different. It's not a distillery many people will know about.
No, I do like stout. I like a heavy beer, like porters, Guinness, all that sort of thing. It'll be interesting to see if any of that comes through.
It's 46%, so a good strength, and it's kind of small batch. It's one of 3,000 bottles produced. Now these bottles actually became incredibly collectible. People actually got a real appetite in the secondary market for them as well. So let's see what the whiskey's all about. Does it have that familiar?
It smells
farmyardy. Oh, okay.
It's a lot going on. It smells quite. There's a lot going on, but it still smells quite thin.
I would say it's got a slight. Now, if I said new makey, would you know what I mean by that? It's got a kind of...
I know. I think we've spoken before about Burkladdy and that. Was it butyric acid?
Okay.
Basically translates as smells like baby sick. And I feel like there's an element of that going on here.
I think it's definitely a little bit kind of maybe like wet socks, I would say. It's a bit more...
That's almost as delicious as baby sick.
I wouldn't go as far as baby sick, but I think it's definitely like wet socks, wet cardboard. It's quite...
Can you imagine somebody who doesn't like whiskey watching this video?
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure if whiskey is for me. Nope, definitely not.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a challenging nose. I don't get any beer or stout, but that's probably a good thing for me.
I think the Bivrost I've had before, I think I've maybe been a bit generous in saying it reminds me of Kilchoman, which has got that sort of, obviously it's a farm distillery, but it's that, kind of smoky, but a real sort of depth of smokiness. I think this is something of that.
The nose is growing on me. It's not literally. it's got a little bit There's like a subtle smoky note in there. There is a. If you look for it, there's some kind of coastal fresh note. Hopefully from the bourbon. I'm gonna give it a taste. See what you think.
I feel like nosing some whiskies. I'd say for most of them, you nose it and you think, I want to try that. Nosing it, I could happily not taste this and just pour it away. I'm hoping I'll be pleasantly surprised. What do you think?
Well, what's been quite consistent with the Bivrost that we've had previously is the palate has been much better than the nose. I think the palate here is interesting. There's a lot of sweetness on the front, of a kind of dry woodiness on the back. It's quite. I don't get any smoke on the palate.
No.
But it's really
very savoury.
Yeah, it is. It's very different to the nose. I think it's better on the palate. But I don't like the nose, so that makes sense.
It's quite. I don't know, it's quite tough going for me, actually. I'm struggling to pick out anything else. I really love that element.
Yeah, from the other ones we've had, they've done the one on the World Oaks, which I really enjoyed. But this has less going on. It's definitely more reliant on their character of spirit, which makes it quite tough.
I really don't enjoy that.
Well, this is the beauty.
Are we meant to be polite?
No. I think this is the thing about whiskey, and you're trying something that is totally alien. It's certainly experimental, and maybe this is an experiment that didn't work for you. I think that's very diplomatic. But I would say the nose. I hate the nose, to be honest. But the palate to me is a little bit more going on. There is sweetness. I don't get much beer influence at all. It's bottled at a good strength. But would I pay the £300 it goes for in the secondary market? No chance.
I just don't think it's very tasty.
Yeah, it's not Moorish, certainly. I think it's still an interesting enough dram to...
You should be a politician, Ross. You're very so
No,
diplomatic.
I'm trying to not sit on the fence too much. I think it smells terrible, but I think the palate has lots of redeeming qualities. You do not.
I was going to say, the nose is bad and the palate's worse.
I won't make you drink any more of it, but another interesting dram for us to try, quite different to what we've done previously.
It's just tough going, I think. I feel like I have to be in
I'm here for you,
very, very specific mood.
Yeah.
To be like, that hits the spot.
I think it's a conversation point whiskey still. But yeah, maybe not. We've had a lot of good stuff, and we've had a lot of bad stuff, and this isn't the most thought-provoking.
I'd happily never try that ever again.
Cheers, Laurie.
Gross. Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bevvy content. We want to hear what you think, your best whiskey experiences, the whiskies you want us to try. It's a really exciting journey we're on, so make sure to join us. Download the Bevvy app on Google Play and App Store to keep track of your whiskey journey, connect with your whiskey friends, keep track of your favourites, anything you could ever want to do with whiskey, all in one place. It's the definitive whiskey companion.